Well, hello to you all beautiful freedom fighters. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Maya Tusi and we have some breaking news coming to you from Pakistan this time. Of course, over the last few days, everything's been kicking off in that part of the world as the Pakistani government somehow declared victory against India while being hammered by the Indian army. Balochistan and the movement for Balochistan is now escalating. They have now officially declared independence from Pakistan. The Pakistani government are freaking out, and of course we're going to give you guys all the updates on the latest clashes as the civil conflict inside the country is escalating. Now, of course, if you're watching this live, we're going to get your reaction live in the live chat and in the comment section. First things first, let's talk about what's actually been happening, because the Balochis or Baloch have been fighting for their independence against Pakistan for a very, very, very long time. For decades and decades, these guys have been saying we do not want to be associated with the Islamist regime of Pakistan. We want to have our own sovereignty, self-determination, and no more Islamist craziness, terrorist regime, and things like that. And of course, the Pakistanis have been occupying that part, which is to the left, the west part of the country, right next to the border with Iran. Now, there is a statement which we've received from the Balochistan and the leadership. This is the map. Obviously, the whole of, the red and green section is technically Pakistan, but as we always say, it's not a real country. It's an acronym of all these different groups. Now, the red section, Balochistan, have been fighting for their independence, as we said, for a very long time. Now they are asking for support from India and the international community. First things first, the clashes. Yes, we obviously have Balochistan seeking recognition from the United Nations as well as India to have the support of the wider world, as the Pakistanis have been told that that part of the country, that territory, is now gone. You need to move on. So while that's happening, there are a number of issues to discuss. First things first, the clashes that we've been seeing over the last few days, many around the so-called Pakistan are still in denial. They don't want to accept what is actually happening. These are the footage that we are seeing from Balochistan. Great. Now, that was terrible quality, by the way. Apologies for that, but I think you get the gist of it, right? We do have no confirmation that 15 more Pakistani army soldiers have now been eliminated in Panjshir, which is in Balochistan. This is the attack carried out by the Baloch Liberation Army, or the BLA. They simply want their own freedom back. Now, they have already said that the Hingalaja Mata Mandir is to be, as the obviously the temple, is to be the spiritual capital of Balochistan. But in terms of the official capital of Balochistan, it's going to be Quetta, as expected. Quetta is going to be the main capital. And of course, Gwadar is going to be the commercial capital, sort of like their version of New York City, because it has a great, massive port, which will help them to trade with the rest of the world. Now, of course, the Pakistani regime is not going to surrender that easily. They're going to make it very, very hard for these guys. But if India officially recognize this and send support, then of course, Balochistan would have a chance of survival. This is a statement that we received. The letter was sent to the Prime Minister of India, to the Honorable Prime Minister of India. The appeal by the Indian Balochs for recognition of the free and independent Balochistan. Your Excellency, we the members of the Baloch Welfare Association India write to you as Indian Balochs, descendants of a proud and ancient nation, whose homeland Balochistan remains under occupation and oppression by Pakistan. For over 7 decades, the people of Balochistan have been subjected to relentless atrocities by the Pakistani state, including enforced disappearances, military operations, resource exploitations, and systemic cultural suppression. These actions amount to crimes against humanity and continue to threaten the survival of the Baloch identity. As Indian citizens of Baloch heritage, we appeal to the government of India to take a principled and bold step by recognizing Free Balochistan as an independent state. Such recognition would not only uphold the democratic values that India cherishes, but also reaffirm India's historical and cultural ties with the Baloch people. We further urge the United Nations to take immediate and serious action on the humanitarian crisis in Balochistan and to support the Baloch nation's legitimate right to self-determination as enshrined in the UN Charter and international law. Recognizing an independent Balochistan is essential to bringing lasting peace to the region, ending decades of suffering and supporting a people whose voices have been silenced for far too long. We humbly request your solidarity and support in this noble cause. With deep respect and sincere hope, Baloch Welfare Association, India. Now, of course, there's a lot of support coming from India already. The biggest challenge is the rest of the international community, including the so-called United Nations, who are a bunch of corrupt clowns who don't actually care about the welfare of pro-freedom humans on this planet. They don't care about what's happening to the Baloch. They don't care about self-determination or sovereignty because they want to pander to Pakistan. That is the case because it's been controlled, the narrative is being controlled by the Western globalists. Now the truth is coming out. Now, the latest footage, everybody is now rising up. Women and children are coming out on the streets. Now, this was in Kharan of Pakistan. This is the Pakistan-occupied Balochistan. This was against the Pakistani army's atrocities against ordinary men, women, and children. We can actually show you that quick video from that protest as well. This is great. It's great to see, obviously, women and children also speaking out. Again, you have everybody as part of the Baloch heritage. You have, obviously, a lot of the culturally Islamic people, but they don't do Islamism. They don't believe in radical Islam anyway. They're just culturally Muslim. You also do have, of course, the minorities, the Christians and Hindus and a few others as well. There's a tiny chunk of Zoroastrians from the ancient time, but who are linked to the Persian Empire. Now, we have more updates that a couple of eliminations as part of the Pakistani army. This is in Quetta of Balochistan, which is currently occupied by Pakistan. The Pakistan Army's Death Squad, it's literally called Death Squad. They're members who are celebrating the so-called victory against India by the Pakistani army. Their celebrations were interrupted as the Baloch rebels decided to essentially carry out the latest round of attacks on these occupiers. Let's have a look at this video.
लोगों को देख सकते हैं आप लोग एक नहीं दो या तीन धमाके हुए ये देखे दो नहीं तीन धमाके हुए
Now, let's not forget that despite the fact that the Baloch people, Balochis, and of course those who identify themselves as with having Baloch heritage, they have been currently technically living in Pakistan under the Pakistani occupation, which means that they have to follow the Pakistani Islamist laws. Now, when it comes to women, especially women and children, women and girls, their behavior, how they should dress, how they should behave, how they should walk, this is not how normal Baloch people want to live. They want to live in a normal life and just do whatever they want to do, like in India. But of course, they have been living under occupation, so the Pakistani laws, Islamist laws, have been forced upon these guys. Women being told exactly what to do, how to dress, what to eat, what to drink, what not to do. It's been absolutely embarrassing. You can see all this footage of women who are still brave enough to come out, by the way, but they are being oppressed. But they don't care. How many times do you actually see all these people coming from North Africa and the Middle East, when they come to the West, all these so-called refugees, they are all military-aged men. Where are the women and children? In countries that are actually being oppressed, people who are being oppressed, look at people in Iran, look at people in Balochistan, or as we call it, occupied Pakistan, it's women. It's young girls and women who are coming out alongside men and they fight. They fight for their freedoms. That's what they do. And then obviously there's a whole situation where all these so-called men, young military-aged men who run away from their countries saying, oh yeah, there was a war zone. Was there? Where are your women? Where are the children? What happened to that? This is the true fight against oppression. Now, Imran Khan. Let's talk about Imran Khan, who's still in prison, obviously. His sons were interviewed by Mario on his show on X. And they confirmed that the Pakistani regime are trying to break him while he's in his cell. He's in a death cell, as they call it, which is meant for terrorists. Let's quickly go to a clip from obviously Imran Khan's son's interview on Mario's show on X, and then we're going to explain exactly what's going on with Imran Khan as well.
Just to kind of give an idea to the world of how popular Imran Khan is in Pakistan. And again, he was the former prime minister, a very popular one. Why do you think they're treating him this way?
You hit the nail on the head. It's a technique to try and break him. He's a very, very resilient person. And I don't, he's one of the hardest people possible to break. But all of these techniques, shutting off the lights, leaving him in the pitch black, not allowing doctors to go and see him, making sure that all of our calls are at completely random times and that we might miss them, or whatever, not letting us have our court mandated weekly phone calls. All of this is tactics to try and break him. But he's, good luck, because he's as resilient as they come mentally, and that comes down to his faith. He has strong faith in God, and also he's always had that kind of mental toughness as well. So it's all torture techniques, exactly as you say.
It is torture techniques. Imran Khan is extremely popular, and he fought against the corruption that's been imposed on the rest of Pakistanis, and they don't want that. They don't want the truth to come out, so they had to silence every single person. Now, Imran Khan's son also mentioned that because Imran Khan is in solitary confinement, in case you don't know. He's been in solitary confinement for absolutely no reason, without giving him any access to anything, and they have been delaying, they've been prolonging it. They were not supposed to. It's against human rights. The United Nations doesn't care. The ICC, the ICJ, none of these guys care. Nothing. Nothing comes out from this organization. Let's go to that part of the interview.
We've received reports that the authorities have now turned off the lights and electricity in Imran Khan's cell, and he's no longer allowed to leave his cell at any time. The jail cook has even been sent on leave. He's now completely isolated, in solitary confinement, literally in the dark, with no contact with the outside world. His lawyers are concerned about his safety and well-being. So that was your mum a few months ago, October last year. Guys, again, pleasure to have you on the show. And my first question is this an accurate description by your mother?
Yeah, I mean, completely. We've known for a while that he's gone through periods of having no light in his cell. He's been in there for nearly 2 years, and there have been periods of, no access to the outside world, no access to doctors. We're well aware of the situation, and he's been in, prolonged solitary confinement.
Prolonged solitary confinement. Now, Just a quick heads up, we are getting a lot of new subscribers every day on this channel, so thank you so much. But a lot of people are new. Just a rule, because we're going to get your reaction in the live chat now. We don't have moderators on this channel. Free speech platform, you can say whatever you want, even if you say something against me or my hair, although that's the red line. Can't say anything about my hair, it's a bit of a mess. But we have one rule. If you spam the live chat, copy and paste the same comment and multiple times, you will get banned and reported. So I don't care where you are, we'll still deport you anyway. Even if you say something nice about me, but you copy and paste it, you will get banned. All right, let's get some reaction from you guys. First super chat from Shrooms, saying more power to the Republic of Balochistan. Absolutely, let them be free for the love of God. There's a number of other comments here. Philip says, what makes them any different from the rest of the nutters? It's because they're not nutters, they've been occupied by the nutters. That's literally the whole point. It's like when you look at the Iranian people who've been oppressed by the Islamic occupiers. And, you know, if you don't know, if someone doesn't know, they would say, well, the Iranian people are basically, they're all nutters. But when you do your homework, you realize actually it's the Islamic occupiers in Iran. Lizard Bait says, your hair is rubbish. How dare you? You're allowed to say that, free speech. Debbie says, what are you talking about? Of course Pakistan is a real country. Now pass me my glass of champagne, please. Obviously, if you don't know, then you would assume that because the BBC told you, or the education system in the West told you, Pakistan is a real country. Yes, it's like al-Julani in Syria, who self-identifies as president, doesn't actually make him president. Pakistan is an acronym. It's not supposed to be a real country. It's literally 3 or 4 sections who are not getting along with each other. It's not supposed to be one place. It's not a thing. It's a fabrication. They just created it out of nothing, out of thin air. If you wanted to do partition, when you had India in the 1940s, there would have been a better solution to actually give the Balochistan movement their own side and the Punjab. They just don't do what you've done. This fake structure of a country makes no sense. It's not a thing because people inside don't see themselves as the others on the other side of the country. That's not a normal country. Don't copy. Okay, people are copy and pasting the same comment. Don't copy and paste the same comment, you get banned. Clark Kent says, Balochistan, we all support you. I hope so. We always support anybody who believes in life and freedom. There's a super chat. What's going on here? Prolonged solitary confinement sounds like the same S that happened to that dude, Tommy, isn't it? Yes, Tommy Robinson. The thing is, when it happens in Pakistan, you're like, well, that kind of makes sense. It's an S-hole, and you know, it's a completely messed up, corrupt establishment, right? Nobody's claiming that Pakistan is some sort of liberal democracy, right? But when it happens in the UK to Tommy Robinson, yeah, that's someone else said, Imran Khan, the Tommy Robinson of Pakistan. Basically, yeah. Yeah, I think Imran Khan is gonna love that when he hears that. But let's not forget that the issue that we have with Imran Khan's sons, then their uncle, Imran Khan's son's uncle, in the UK has been pushing for change. Nothing, nobody is hearing him. Now, in case you don't know, their uncle is Zach Goldsmith. Zach Goldsmith, obviously his nephews, who were just interviewed by Mario on X, he's been fighting for a very long time inside the British establishment. Obviously, he was a former Tory MP, he was a former Tory parliamentary mayoral candidate for London, and he's been trying to fight on behalf of his family to wake people up in the British establishment about what's actually going on in Pakistan. Clearly, didn't really work, did it? But he did post Zach Goldsmith on X, responding to the interview by his nephews, saying, I'm so proud of my nephews. They have never courted publicly, that's true, the contrary, but they are speaking up now for their father, Imran Khan. A hero for so many in Pakistan, an uncorruptible leader who is being tortured by a desperate, corrupt, greedy establishment. So, Zach Goldsmith had his connections over the years, and a lot of people thought that we could potentially wake up the Foreign Office in the UK and Downing Street, but actually that's not really happened. Despite the fact that the truth is already out there. The truth about the corruption in Pakistan, the export of Islamist terrorism by Pakistan, and the harm that Pakistan is actually doing to our countries in the West, whether you're talking about the UK or France or elsewhere. Now, what is the point right now? I mean, it's good to hear Imran Khan's sons finally being able to publicly speak out. It's important that people in the British political establishment also start to listening to their uncle, Zach Goldsmith. But are we actually going to see any change from the Foreign Office in London? Because this is the same Foreign Office who refuse to designate the Islamic Revolutionary Guard in Iran as a terrorist organization. The IRGC is a terrorist organization in Canada, in the US, even in Canada, although Canada only did it about a year ago. Still, even Justin Castro Trudeau, even Trudeau was forced to eventually designate them as a terrorist organization. What is happening in London and in the British establishment? Now, let's get some more reaction from you lovely humans. Balochistan should be recognized by more countries. But that's the other thing. The movement, you know the history, you know the heritage, you know that they always wanted self-determination, you know they don't want to be told what to do by the Pakistani occupation. Let them have a chance. That's it. The battle for Balochistan starts here, starts now. Don't take it for granted. Because if people around the world who believe in freedom and life, the people around the world who are nationalist and patriotic in their own countries, if they don't start supporting other patriotic movements in their own places, then you will be alone when you need help. Because we live in a globalized world, unfortunately. That's just by default. Do not let the liberal globalists taking over completely. It's time, and we have already started seeing it, nationalists and patriots from all countries to start supporting each other. For the first time, we're actually seeing it in Europe. The Dutch patriots, Geert Wilders, supporting their neighbors, the French nationalists, the German patriots. I don't know what's going on in Britain. It's time to support each other. You have the same with the Indians supporting the self-determination of Israelis to have a country and vice versa. It's time to support Balochistan because eventually everybody needs to support each other. Those who want to make their country great again. Those who want to have self-determination rather than have more wars and conflicts where you're going to have more mass migration and multiculturalism and chaos. Everybody should try their best to make their country and where they are based great again, now. That's the only way you're going to have some sort of peace in the world. Going back to some super chats. Lulu says, everyone go copy and paste the chat. Lulu from Canada, you're asking for trouble. Jay says, no prime minister in Pakistan has ever completed a full term since their independence. Some of their prime ministers have been hanged by the military. The thing is, it's one of the most dangerous jobs in the world, becoming a prime minister in Pakistan. Not really sure why you want to do it. Tommy Robinson for prime minister. Yeah, Imran Khan in Pakistan and Tommy Robinson in Britain. Pavan Kumar says, Imran Khan is a jihadist. Not really. Who called bin Laden a Shaheed, martyrs. And also classist, who used the word below stairs to white people. So they're okay. If you want to find their out of context narratives from everybody, you could find it on everybody. But we're not comparing Imran Khan's political standards to, for example, in the US or in the UK. We're comparing him, that the bar is very low. We're comparing him to the rest of the political establishment in Pakistan. That's the whole thing. Obviously, if it was in the UK, well, we're like, well, you can't do that. You can't say that. We don't do that here. But we have to compare him to what's actually happening in Pakistan. That's the culture. Vinny says, explain the acronym. Why did they all end stan? Stan simply means land. So that's why we say a London stan. So this is London land because of. So that's the main thing. So you got the Pashtuns. Where's the rest of it? Punjabs. Hang on. Why do I always forget this? Okay, let's find out for a second. Let's get some more reaction while I remember this. Now, Islamists, wait, no, Baluch are no different than other Islamists. A little bit different. They never opposed Islamism. Yes, they have. They never opposed terror attacks on India. They have most of the time. Now they're against Pakistan because of their oppression. It's just an Islamic tribal thing. It's not. And also not all Baluch are Islamic. Oh yes, so Punjab, I got the list now finally. You got the Punjab, the Kashmir, you got Sindh, and you got technically Afghania, which is from the northern parts next to Afghanistan, and Tan is from Balochistan. So Pakistan, it's going to be hard to remember. P for Punjab, A for Afghani, K for Kashmir, I, which is to kind of connect the rest of the acronym, S for Sindh, and Tan for Balochistan. And obviously, Stan simply means land. And by the way, it worked out because the Pak, the word means, also in Persian, it means clean or pure. So technically, Pakistan actually means the land of the pure, land of the clean, which actually means land of the pure, land of the clean. I think there's so many jokes, but I'm not touching that. It's not that clean. Carter says, well, Pakistan is on the verge of a balkanization. The question is, are Pakistan's nukes secured? If not, then trouble. No, it won't. Firstly, don't worry about the nuke stuff. Secondly, Pakistan is never supposed to be a country. So it obviously has to be balkanized, because it's not going to be balkanized because automatically they are separate people anyway. It's not like what happened in Europe. People can't just use the same examples of the past. It's like saying Adolf Hitler was a vegetarian, so all vegetarians are basically like that. Or Hitler had a dog. Anybody who has a dog is basically the same. Not everything just that looks the same is the exact same. So just because Adolf used to drink water doesn't mean others who drink water believe in the same things. Lulu says, Trump's for Earth Supreme Leader 2028. Well, peace solved. He'll be very old by then. AJ says, the Baluch women don't want to dress up as Darth Vader, period. Darth Vader. They got no choice because they're going to be told what to do. It's a very messed up culture right now. They're going to have to dress, although most of them still dress up more colorful things. They're like, well, if we're going to have to cover our bodies or whatever, at least I'm going to wear pink or red. There's a lot of red in the Baluch community. Niraj says, Pakistan is giving false narratives and why the West is believing when they know that even Pakistani air bases were destroyed by India. Well, the West believes it because the West are relying on the international media, and the media are not doing their homework, and they just believe whatever the Pakistani government tells them. Just like in Gaza, they say, well, the Gaza health ministry told them. Who is the Gaza health ministry? Oh, it's Hamas. You don't have any journalists there to actually do fact-checking. You have your contractors as part of the BBC in Gaza, and they say the same thing. They just say, well, yes, Israel just killed 5 billion Gazans in the last 10 minutes. And the BBC just believes it. It's the same thing in Pakistan. It's embarrassing. Anyway. I think there was a... Stu says, if your explanation was right and the Baluch split, is Pakistan... No, but Pakistan will be... Well, yes, actually, yeah, because the town will go. Well, look at then they have to change the name because obviously you don't have to look at it in English. Because obviously you have to look at the original languages. But when you look at, for example, even in Persian, the word that you write in English in terms of the spelling, if you get rid of one letter or two letters, the whole thing will have to change. So it will, yeah, Pakis would make no sense. Like in English, it would make some sense, but yeah, I mean, you look at everything that's actually happened since the Persian Empire. dissolved and they slowly sold out to other countries. And most of the issues that you had when it comes to different tribes and all these names, everything goes back to the clash of language. For example, Urdu, as the main part, has been mixed so much, despite the fact that the Urdu speakers would say it hasn't changed. Of course it's changed, like all languages has changed. And you have no idea, for a lot of people, that change of the differences in language is not just symbolic when it comes to culture. It is the definition of the attitude and culture of tribes. Because in the West, you basically have big chunks that speaks same language, right? I mean, apart from like Belgium, you got Germany, speak German. And then of course, you got the Dutch, similarish, but different. You got the English language in the UK and the Republic of Ireland. But you look at, for example, South Asia, you look at the Middle East, you look at even the different levels, different versions of Arabic. It defines you as your tribe. So when you look at, for example, Punjabis and Pashtus and the Balochi language and Urdu language, it's not just the language. It defines you as your identity because it affects your attitude, it affects your culture, your costumes, your traditions. Everything about it goes with the language. Everything about even the different versions of sense of humor will affect by having that different language. So those who speak Urdu and those who speak Baloch, you could be like, oh, I'm going to find similarities in them. Fine. Urdu is just a mix of languages anyway. It's just a bit of a mess. That was a long rant about languages, unnecessarily. Sorry about that. China claims, Aruna trial right after a ceasefire seems like a long-term plan to keep India unstable. First Nepal, then Mauritius, then Bangladesh, Pakistan. Yeah, don't forget the role of China in all this. China. Music and fiction says tourist slogan, Balochistan, the anvil of Asia. Good start. Shroom says it's awful that Dr. Maharang Baloch is still in jail. Yes. Yeah, because we talked about, obviously, Imran Khan. But yesterday we were talking about Maharang Baloch, the leader of the Balochistan movement. And she went too far. From the perspective of Pakistan, she went too far. So the fact that they were intimidated and terrified of a woman, a female leader, telling them what to do, that's the problem. Did somebody say Indiastan? Indiastan is not a thing. Indiastan. Hindustan. Yeah, it's not Indiastan. Oh, anyway. It says the acronym is a fake recent idea that came up later. Kashmir and Balochistan were never even part of the concept of Pakistan. Well, they occupied it. Where is Bangladesh then? Which part of Pakistan? Don't get me started with that part. We don't want to get the Bangladeshi debate into this because it's already complicated with everything that's been going on. I think that thing is also going to implode with everything that's been going on in Bangladesh. The current government is trying to say we are fixing all the corruption of the previous dictator. Like, you're still corrupt. Your council. The Pakistanis swore a false oath on the Quran and fooled the Baloch people in order to annex Balochistan. This is the realities of Islamist Pakistanis. And finally, Jay says, a few years ago, a Pakistani woman was raped by her neighbor. The community decided that the criminal's sister will be raped by the victim's brother to settle scores. That's how messed up Pakistan is. And also in a lot of the villages, if the woman is violated physically, if she happens to be married, she will have to get stoned because she's basically cheated on her husband, even though she didn't give consent. I mean, that's just completely messed up. How is that even normalized? Like what you said, that's messed up on a different level. But if the woman is a victim, but just because she was married, doesn't mean she's cheated. That's not really how it works. But these guys just love pure violence. Anyway, let's just wait and see the reaction from the Indian government on this and the so-called international community. I'm not holding my breath. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Maya Tusi, and we are the media.